Hey y'all, thanks for joining us on another episode of the Rockwell Farms Garden Show.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm Josiah.
I'm Mark, and we really appreciate you tuning in. What is this? About the fourth week of October?
Correct. Yeah, we're getting ready to hop into November.
Yes.
You know,
We have had a lot of hot weather
and no rain.
and no rain. When's
No
the
rain.
last time we had rain?
I can't even remember.
It's been over 2 months.
I don't even know what rain is anymore.
It's been Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I mean, to tell you, yeah, we haven't seen water in 2 months.
Yeah, it's crazy. Across the street from me, they're building a new subdivision, and it's all dirt. So the wind is picking up now, and it is just a dust storm over my house. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, anyway, we wanted to talk about the drought and how that's going to affect your trees and your plants for coming into this winter.
It's good.
And what you can do now to prepare for that, because we wanted to go around and drive around and take pictures of the trees, the fall color and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're wondering why you don't see much fall color right now,
It's because of the drought.
yes.
Yeah, been so dry.
Yes. And for the trees to turn, they have to have plenty of water in their system, in their cell system, for the hormone, which turns the tree a certain color, whichever color it's going to be. And you just haven't had that metabolic activity from lack of water.
Yeah.
So the leaves are just falling without turning.
All the trees are kind of in freak out mode, trying to go to dormancy early.
All right.
And
So what can you do right now to prepare for this? But first, I want to tell you the way it works. When you water, what you're doing is that you are increasing what we call the turgor pressure into the cells. That's actually really important because it takes a while for the cells of the root system of a plant to imbibe that water to get at 100% capacity.
now, what is turgor pressure?
Turgor pressure is the amount of water, basically, that you have in a cell.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you look at through a microscope, that cell is actually a little shriveled. And because it has salts in it, the water will imbibe with the salts and make that cell to where it will go through the winter. Meaning, okay, take a car. This is a good way of example.
Sure.
Good example. In your radiator, you have water and you have antifreeze, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the salts, which is taken from the fertilizer. Salts are just minerals.
Sure.
Those salts are kind of like the antifreeze. All right. So when you have water in there as well, the water will freeze if it doesn't have those salts. That's why a good fertilizer program throughout the year is very important, because you have to keep those salts in that cell as well.
So that basically makes a root system winter hardy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that way you can get through the winter. Maybe that's the reason in being why, after a hard winter, we might get people in to replace some shrubs because
Yes.
they weren't fertilized, there wasn't enough minerals or salts in the
Right. And that's
root
why
system.
our root stimulator is so important, because that root stimulator has indole-butyric acid in it, which is the same hormone that the tree produces to stimulate its own roots.
So that's this one right here.
Exactly.
Yep, root stimulator.
And it also has the starter fertilizer in there. So the starter fertilizer is the salts, okay, that go into the cell, and also the hormone, indole-butyric acid, which is in there, will stimulate its root system. And then we talk about watering in the tree.
Got it.
All right?
So could you use something like the tree and shrub food as well?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so let's go through when you're planting trees, let's go through the method that we want people to use from our sheet. We have a sheet here at Rockwell Farms. It's on the back of every one of our contracts whenever you buy trees. And sometimes people come up just for the sheet.
Correct. Yeah,
So-
even if they didn't get their trees here,
Right.
because it's good information. So every time that you get trees here or shrubs, you get one of these sheets, or with our fruit trees, you also get one of these. We go over pretty thoroughly how to take care of your newly planted trees, your shrubs, and this is really good information to have. Anyway, you can learn a lot from these two pieces of paper. So even if you don't get anything here, you can come and pick these up. If you have planted new trees or shrubs, plants, flowers, this will help quite a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like, we're in the business of helping people. We're
Right.
just happy to sell trees.
Absolutely.
So let's just go over our sheet. How to take care of your newly planted tree. First of all, you water it in. Now, watering in is not just putting water on top.
Correct.
Okay, you are drowning that sucker from
Yep.
the top to the bottom.
Yep.
So what I tell most people is take the nozzle off the hose, and when you have it 3/4 of the way full, drown it, because what that water does, it gives you good root to soil contact by getting all the air out of the roots.
Yep. Getting rid of all the air pockets. When they backfill, there
Yep.
are air pockets in there.
And that will insulate the root system of a tree
Yeah.
or a shrub for the entire winter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Second thing you need to do is apply your root stimulator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it has the starter fertilizer and the hormone in there, and there's no better way of getting a tree off to a good start rather by using root stimulator by furlong.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And we also tell you exactly how to use it. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty easy.
Yeah, 3-gallon tree, 15-gallon, 25, 45. So it's very easy to water. Now, when do I water? That is the most popular question that we're ever asked.
Every day, about 20, 30 times a day, I'm asked this question.
Really?
Yeah, every day. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first thing you need to know that watering is never according to time. It's always according to need. So the
Correct.
hotter temperatures we have, like we've been in the over 80 degrees, and this is October. So this is crazy.
Yeah.
So the higher temperatures, the more you need water.
Correct. Yep.
Right? It never goes by time, it always goes by need. So what we tell people is that after you have watered in your tree, meaning totally saturated it, you can always stick your finger on top and stick
Yep.
your finger in the dirt.
Yep.
If it's wet on top, you know it's wet on bottom, right?
Yeah.
Another indicator is your tree will droop.
Yeah. Your trees, your plants, they will speak to you.
Yes.
10 times out of 10, they will tell you what is going on with them. It's just you have to pay attention to that. And so people will want, they'll want a water regimen. Well, we can't really give a water regimen on when, how much, what time, because everybody's soil is different. It's all based off of
Exactly.
porosity
The porosity of the
in your soil.
Yeah.
And porosity, if you have, I love this word, loamy.
He loves that word.
If your soil is loamy, or you can ball it up in your hand, let it go, and it kind of crumbles or whatever, you've got,
A
good.
good proportion
Yeah.
of water holding capacity and aeration.
Yes.
That's what porosity is.
Thank you. So, but if you have clay, think of it this way: we use clay to line ponds, and so if you have clay soil or clay dirt, that holds high water retention. So you're going to be watering less in that instance. But it's all going off of what soil you have, the porosity you have, and what your tree needs, because every plant is a little bit different.
So you have red clay, which is totally terrible.
Yes.
That's what they use for foundations of buildings.
Yep.
And they also use it for the bottom of ponds, right?
Yep. For building. Yep.
Right. That's just bad.
Yeah.
You cannot really amend red clay soil.
Right. And you don't want your tree, because we dig a hole in that clay and then we put your tree in. Essentially, you don't want your tree in its own sitting pond.
Right. That's what you call a hard pan.
Hard pan. Yep. Yep.
To where the water stays at the bottom of that tree and rots it out.
Yeah.
So if you have red clay, don't even think about it. You need to have topsoil.
I would agree.
And here in Northwest Arkansas, our topsoil is the brown clay.
Yeah.
It's just fluffed up brown clay.
Or the Cottonburg compost. That's one we recommend the most, because it helps break up and aerate some of that clay.
That's why every time we install a tree, we use the Cottonburg compost.
Correct. Yep.
All right. And so now you have good consistency of water holding capacity and aeration when you add the Cottonburg compost.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into this winter, I would, since we haven't had water in the past 2 months, go ahead and drown your trees.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it now to where you are securely getting that trigger pressure in your cell system.
Now we do have rain coming up, but wouldn't you recommend don't count on the rain?
Good farmer
They've
never
told
counts
us
on
for
rain.
3 months we would get some, and I haven't seen any.
That's compulsive liar.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let me just touch on this, and that's on the sheet as well. The 3 most popular reasons why your newly planted tree dies is from overwatering.
Yeah,
Okay.
we see it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we have those 2 barometers. Is the leaf of the plant will droop, and it's okay for the tree to have a lack of water. It's not okay for a tree to have too much water.
So there's a fine line.
Yes.
You don't want to underwater and your tree to die from dehydration,
Yeah.
and you don't want to overwater and your tree just drown, get root rot.
Right.
Usually with overwatering though, there's telltale signs like yellowing leaves and whatnot. And underwatering, there's very telltale signs.
So underwatering is reversible,
Yeah.
but overwatering is not, because then you have root rot and you're dealing with diseases like botrytis and so forth.
And then you're going to need to treat. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
So it's better to underwater than overwater.
Yeah.
Now the way that you monitor is you'll see the tree droop, or you can take your finger and stick it in there.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you know if the top couple inches of the soil is dry, then you can water. But if it's wet, you don't water.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Very plain.
The second most reason is chemical burn from herbicides.
Yeah.
Be careful with that.
Yeah, I've had that customers come in that use a certain lawn care company that spray different herbicides and whatnot, and on a younger planted tree, just not good for it because it's trying to figure it out, trying to get a root system established.
And the way you can tell that you have chemical burn is that you will have a yellow edge on each one of the leaves to begin with.
Yeah.
And that yellow edge will just kind of go down into that.
Telltale sign. Yeah.
And the third reason is neglect in hot weather or drought. And we even mentioned on here, good for us. And don't forget, we have droughts in the winter.
We do.
Okay?
We really do.
So in a droughty situation like we've been in, water the full out of your trees.
Yeah, if you're in the winter desiccation, is what it's called, winter desiccation, that comes from when it's really cold out, freezing temperatures, and it's dry.
Right.
And so a culmination of those things, that's when we see, what was it, a couple years ago, we saw winter desiccation on boxwoods and some of the evergreens.
It was terrible because we got down to that negative 17 degrees.
Yeah.
Which it got really down into the soil, okay? And
Yeah.
we had a lot of freeze out of plant material.
People don't understand that you do need to water through those, especially with your newly planted trees and shrubs.
So please get a jump on it for this winter because we've been getting down to, last year was -6. The year before that we got -17.
Now it is true that through the winter you will have less watering to do because cooler temperatures, you're not worried about, everything just evaporating. You're not too worried about that. But a dry winter can still, you still do need water.
Right.
Yeah.
So make sure that you have good turgor pressure in those cells going into this coming winter as well.
That's good. That's
All right.
really good.
Now, let's talk about something else that people should do. You want to talk about deer now?
Yeah, that's a good one. We've had quite a few people coming in asking about deer. Here's the deal. We get into fall and we start going into winter.
Oh,
and
wait.
Go
We
ahead.
didn't mention mulch.
Oh, yeah.
Mulch for the drought situation.
True.
Here at Rockwell Farms, we have a fine mulch. It's the, what is it, pine?
Fine pine bark mulch, yep.
Fine pine bark mulch, which can also be used as a compost, but we really recommend that you have at least 3 inches, right?
Yep.
And and make sure that you cover the root ball of that newly planted tree.
Yeah.
So it's 3 inches thick and about 3 to 4 inches wide, or 4 feet wide.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
So that will do 2 things,
Yep.
2 major things. It will hold back evaporation from the water, so that will help with your watering. And the other thing it'll do is insulate that root system, and that's great going into winter. That's a good tip.
So mulch is just not only for aesthetics, but it's to keep that plant from going wet, dry during the winter,
Yeah,
and to insulate the root system.
it's functional and it looks good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kind of like us.
Yeah, hey, half of us.
All right, let's talk about deer. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, deer. Like I said, we've had quite a few people coming in. What happens when you go into fall and winter is food sources for the deer become more scarce, especially since we've been in a drought. Things aren't green; they're brown. And so the deer will be coming into your yard, even if it's deer resistant. Doesn't mean that they won't try it out because they're hungry.
Yeah,
and
resistant is not proof.
Correct.
It just means that it's kind of like a buffet. Deer will go for those things that they like the most.
Yeah.
And I mean, hosta.
Yep.
Okay, and those things that are just really sweet to them. And it's just like a buffet. And they'll go for the ice cream first.
Yep.
And then meat and potatoes. And then the very last, they'll eat the spinach, the greens.
If it's green in your yard and the deer are hungry, they will go for it.
They will eat the thorns off of roses.
Yeah, or the barberry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
They will eat the thorns on barberry.
Yeah.
So what can people do to prevent their landscape from being deer food?
Absolutely. So I've got a customer down in Fayetteville, great customer, but they use this Bob X. We've got quite a few customers that use this, but her specifically, we've been out to her property and we've seen this work firsthand. Every now and then again, she has me come out and spray. But anyways, the Bob X deer repellent, what I like about this one is unlike, maybe liquid fence or other deer repellents, this one, the deer do not get used to.
Well, hey, I remember years ago, I met the owner of Liquid Fence at a trade show.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when he was really taking it by storm. And just like all the products that I've seen throughout the years, I mean, I've been doing this my entire life.
Yeah.
He sold out to one of the big guys.
Got it.
They
Yeah.
changed the formulation. It wasn't working like it should have been. I was not happy. That's when I went to the trade show and started asking around. And those growers of Christmas trees in North Carolina said, "You need to go see this guy, Bob X."
Bob. Yep.
Yep. So anyway, that's the story behind Bob X. And that's how
Yeah. So Connecticut actually did a study on these, and I'm going to nerd out on you a little bit. But Connecticut did a study, and they went through every single deer repellent known to man.
Liquid Fence, coyote urine.
Yep.
Deer off.
Yep.
All of them.
And we have the study here at the nursery, so if you're a nerd like us and you want to come and read it, we've got it printed off here that you can read. But what they had done is they have tried every single deer repellent that they could possibly come up with, because in Connecticut, they are considered a pest.
Yes.
Because the population has gone up, and they are just destroying landscapes, yards, and so they're considered a pest. They're white-tailed deer.
So the state did this test.
They did this test, and the only thing that they found better than the Bob X was an 8-foot fence. They tried them all. That was the only thing underneath the 8-foot fence.
Since we don't sell fences, we have Bob X.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lot cheaper than putting up a fence.
I like this.
Yep.
Okay, this is a tree guard. It is a rope. And it sticks to the trunk of a tree, and you just go up like this.
Yeah.
Now, why is this so effective? Whenever you install a tree into a landscape or a shrub, correct me if I'm wrong, the deer come and they say, "Oh, that's new," right?
They do, yeah.
And so they go and they mark their territory with their horns and stuff, scrape it.
Yep, they do.
Okay.
It's that soft cambium they like to rub their antlers on, yeah.
Yep. And so this right here, an older gentleman created this.
Yep.
And he was at the trade show. He wasn't there this is the last time we went, but he was there the year before. And this is a very, very underrated, great item.
And because it's a small string, it's much more attractive. You'll see people, they'll cut the 4-inch black corrugated pipe. They'll cut it down, they'll put it around their tree, which is pretty unattractive, looks inorganic. This you can hardly see because it's just a little string that you wrap around the trunk of your tree. You can also, we have people that line their flower beds with this. Just line the edging and you can't really see it, and it works great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like
Lasts a long time too.
Yeah, and you get a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot in here. So that's a product that's very unique, and I like it a lot.
Yeah. How much is actually in there? How many feet is that? 150 feet.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because you only use about 6 to 8 feet on a tree.
Yeah, your smaller trees, 3 to 4 foot. Yeah,
show the,
yeah. So right over here, I mean, it's just a string. It comes raveled up in the box, and you just pull it out. I would advise washing your hands because it does have a little bit of a pungent smell.
Christy has experience with that. Let's get her in here.
But it works so good. Yeah, let's get Christy.
Christy!
She's known as Vanna. You have to call Vanna! It's all she comes to.
Hey y'all, this is Christy, and Christy has personal experience with the customer that uses this, so I'd like for you to tell people.
Yeah, definitely. So this is the deer tape. It's 150 feet worth of tape, and what you can do is wrap it around your tree or your shrub, especially if you've got deer that like to rub their horns when they're shedding, or if they're trying to eat your shrub. So it's got garlics and clove and putrescent egg solids. So it kind of smells bad to the deer, and it deters them away from your plant material.
So it's totally organic?
Totally organic,
Okay.
Yes.
And you had a customer that used this. Tell us
Yes,
about that.
they had problems with the deer rubbing along the trunk of their new tree, and also was nibbling on their shrubs. So they put this around there, and the deer did not come back.
Good. And see, deer are victims of habit. I mean, if you ever notice that a deer hunter always has to stand in the same place, right?
Yes.
Okay. So since deer are a victim of habit, what you could do is use the Bob X or this tree guard, and it will keep the deer from going into your landscape and into your neighbors.
Oh, yeah,
right?
exactly. We had a lady down in Fayetteville. She's got a beautiful property, huge amount of land in her yard. And she's got some really pretty hostas and hydrangeas.
Okay.
And Josiah and
Deer
out there,
food?
yes, we were out there basically deer salad. Yeah. We were out there doing a landscape job, and the deer were in her yard out in the grassy area, but they would no longer come along that barrier where we had sprayed this Bob X, because they learned, like you said, through habit, that it now smelled bad to them. So they left her hydrangeas and hostas alone.
Okay. So basically, when you use these products, the Bob X and this deer rope, you are changing the habit of the deer from going into your yard and into your neighbors.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Christy.
Mark.
All right. You know what, Josiah? She did a much better job of explaining.
Why do we even do the show?
I don't know.
We just need to have, you know, the Christy Vanna Rockwell Farm Show. That's what we need.
I'm getting a little insecure about my job.
Yeah, you should be.
I should be. Hey, all right, thanks for joining us, and I hope this helped.
Yeah.
For a little education on going into the wintertime and how to protect your plants from the freeze out
Yes.
and deer.
Yeah, and if you like this content or you need to know more about this, you can actually leave questions in the comments below underneath this video. We do pay attention to those very thoroughly, and that's how we get the content for the show. And so if you have questions, it also helps us stay current on what's going on, what people's needs are, and we can better help you that way. Also, by doing that, you're not just helping yourself get the answers, you're also answering questions that hundreds of other people need to know right now and what's current. So,
In other words, don't leave it up to us to decide the content.
yeah.
Get that
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
All right.
Goodness.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks again. We'll see you.